Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Invitation to a Conversation. This is Black History Month, and this is the weekend of the Super Bowl. So, the first thing is that I'm bringing to you stories of people like us. That's the theme for Black History, along with the rest of the conversations that I have for the month. So today I present to you Mr. George Hawkins III, a top prospect for the 2025 NFL Draft, and his mother, Donna Hawkins. Good evening. How y'all doing?
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank
Yes.
you for having us.
Yes, you're welcome. So, to start off this conversation, Mr. Hawkins, can you tell the people about who you are?
My name is George E. Hawkins III. I was originally born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I moved to Jacksonville, Florida around 2006, 2007, and was raised in Jacksonville, Florida since then, where I played a combination of sports such as football, basketball, track, soccer, and so forth and so on. And I am now at Columbia University where I play football and then I'm earning my bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering.
Okay. And what position did you play in high school and college?
In high school, I mostly played defensive end. Once I got to college, that's when I moved positions and played more of outside linebacker and rover, which rover is like the hybrid position between linebacker and safety.
Okay. Okay. What age did you get interested in football and realize that you wanted to play it professionally?
Uh, I would say around the age of 7 is when I got interested in football. I didn't want to play football professionally until my sophomore year of high school. I thought I was going to be a basketball player because
Okay.
I did like the game of basketball. I also played basketball while I was in high school. So I was taking the right steps for basketball at the time because I thought that's what I wanted to do. But then, I'm not 6'6". So football was better. I was good at it. I played 7-on-7 during the summertime and really dove into my training for football.
So there was a basketball player named Spud Webb. Now,
Hmm.
he wasn't tall at all. So don't never give up thinking that height is not the thing. Because if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Spud Webb was I think the shortest player
Hmm.
besides Muggsy. All right. You played at Bats and Columbia University. At Bats, your major was physics and engineering. For those who don't know, can you explain both of those majors?
So yeah, so dealing at Bates, it was physics/engineering. So I did a lot of formulas that would get me to test how fast a rocket would go, or maybe the speed of the ball, or like the aerodynamics of just objects in general, and
Mm-hmm.
how they move with fluids, without fluids, and how they exist in our present day, and what calculations would be made to be able to calculate their speed, velocity, how high they can go, their durability, so forth and so on. Where at Columbia University, I am getting a degree in mechanical engineering, where I'm actually putting those practices to use. So I work in SolidWorks, which is like I make the model of the design and I test when it will break, how dense is the product, is this a good product that is worth putting out, as well as testing my building skills, which I am currently in a class where I'm building my own robot. I'm building an elephant right now. So
An
we
elephant
did,
robot. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I'm building the schematics for that and how it's going to move, and going to start finalizing my CAD, which is like the virtual way of designing it before actually putting it in presentation in real life. And I'm also working on a airplane that's supposed to survey endangered species.
So back in the day, architects used to draw with the pen and paper on a
Hmm.
pad. So mechanic. So now you're learning instead of using pen and paper, you're doing it on the computer, designing it on the computer.
Yeah, so you do both. So you take it from paper and then put it on the computer to actually like, model it. Because when you put it on the computer, it's a 3D model. So when you
Mm-hmm.
put it on paper, it's not as a 3D model, it's more like a 2D model. So once you
Mm-hmm.
put it in the computer, it's a 3D model. You can get the exact measurements, screws, and so forth. And yeah, there's endless capabilities.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I will want to see the end product. So will that have anything to do with STEM? Is that part of a STEM education with
Yes, it
that
is.
engineer? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So
All right. Um, were these your first career choice, and why pick these careers, and what is your end goal and mission for your majors?
um mechanical engineering has always been a dream of mine. Growing up, I always had an eye for like deconstructing things and then reconstructing it. So
Mm-hmm.
just having that ability and always wanting to see the world I always seen the world in a different scope where I always wanted to make it better or design better things or make things more capable for others. So I've always had a love for mechanical engineering. I'm probably more going to be more specific in Boeing and aerospace, so which is like working with airplanes and rockets.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's always that's always been a career choice of mine. There's always been something I favored.
So you used to take things apart and want to put it back together. So you have a work.
Yes, yes, I did it a lot.
Basically.
Yes, my mom used to yell at me, "You better put it back together." I said, "I know how it was. Mom, I'm gonna put it back together." I'm always called on to my best friend's family whenever something needs to get put together. I usually don't
Mhm.
even look at the instruction manual. I usually just put it together, and if anything, I just look at the supplies. So,
Okay, okay. So you mentioned that you played basketball. What other sports did you play?
so on top of basketball, I played power forward and center. I also ran track, which I ran the 100, the 200, as well as I did field events like long jump.
Hmm.
And then I played baseball for a short amount of time in my youth years. I played mostly outfield and third base. So
Okay. And so you're ready for football then, because if you can take track and all those other sports and put it in with that football, that's going to make you exceptional to make those plays.
mhm.
What?
I
Go ahead.
I feel like those sports has helped me in football in different ways, whether it's speed or agility. So those
Mhm.
all complement each other's. I also played soccer. My mom wanted me to stay playing soccer, but I had different different goals in mind.
Well, I'm sure she doesn't mind right now. You're a top prospect for the NFL draft, so I don't hear her complain. So, what makes you a top prospect for NFL?
What makes me a top prospect as an outside linebacker for the 2025 NFL draft is my versatile skill set that I've developed over the years and the training I've put in over the collegiate level. As an outside linebacker, I understand my position is one of the more diverse and demanding positions in the defense. And I also excel at reading my keys, knowing my assignments, executing it, as well as taking on the responsibility of stopping the run, pass, and everything in between. I
Okay.
am considered, I would say I'm a one stop shop. I'm athletic, I'm reliable, I'm a wrap up tackler, and quickly recognized to react to the ball. The ability to play off the ball and then be able to rush the passer and stop the run is something that is very much needed at the outside linebacker position.
Okay. Many athletes formulate a foundation or organization given the opportunity. What foundation or organization would you be implementing and why?
I would say I would stick to what I've been doing and basically sticking to. So right now I'm sticking to a schedule of waking up around 8:30 a.m., going to go work out, then running, and then making sure I'm eating my 3 meals a day. I'm getting my protein in and staying on top of what I need to work on. So if
Hmm.
I feel as though I need to have a better twitch when I'm breaking for the ball, then I'll work on drills specifically for that and put in like bag drills. So where I'm stepping over the bag
Hmm.
to make me emphasize picking up my leg and then
Hmm.
bursting out and changing direction. So
Okay. So, what foundation or organization would you formulate once you become an NFL player?
see, that's very interesting because I wouldn't have school anymore. So
Right.
I would have to reorganize my whole day. So I probably would wake up at 9 a.m., eat, get some light footwork drills in, then have lunch, then later in the day, maybe do some weight training, and
Mhm.
then eat again, have some snacks, and then most likely work on just all field work and
Right.
making sure explosiveness.
So, you know how an organization, what organization is true to your heart, that if were given the opportunity,
Make sure.
you will formulate this organization where you would give back to your community or across the states?
Okay. Oh, I would definitely give back to Lakeshore. That's where I played all my football years at growing up. And then I probably will also give back to my high school for giving me the opportunity to play and having the time there that they have grown to develop me and believe in me to do what I can do today.
Okay. Now, this might be a crazy question, but everybody asks it. What is the first thing you would buy when
Well,
you get that first NFL check?
first things first, whatever debt that me or my mom are dealing with, that's gonna be the first thing that's gonna be paid off. And then after that would probably be a house. Because my mom always told me, don't buy an apartment, buy a house, it's
That's
yours.
right.
So that's
That's right. That's right. Most of the time, men train boys of all ages and went through the grueling of practice, traveling, and picking up the cost. How was it with your mother doing all of that for you, opposed to a male?
I would say it was I had a best friend and a coach at the same time. So she'll be coaching me on what things I could have probably did better or things I might have not seen. And
Mm-hmm.
then we'll laugh and joke about it later and have food and make it normal. So I would say I had a personal coach that like helped me motivate me when I went to these
Mm-hmm.
different camps. And then the best friend side is just making sure I didn't feel like I had so much pressure or the weight on my shoulders when I went into these events and I was able to perform at max capacity.
Thank you. Who inspires you? Who inspires you, or who is your role model?
I can only say one person, that is my mother. Her resilience to constantly provide and want better for me, as well as her ability to like still stay on top of everything that she has going on, has taught me these skills as well and showed me that, when you put your mind to it, anything is possible, and the constant love and support that she gave me. So,
Thank you. All right. So right now I'm going to talk to your mom for a second and then get back with you. Miss Hawkins, tell us about George as a child.
Well, everyone else knows him as George. I typically affectionately call him G or G Money.
Okay.
Um, George was always the energetic child, um, very inquisitive, lots of energy. Um, and you had to keep him busy. He was an outdoor
Mm,
child. And I was always a firm believer. We grew up in Philadelphia. We played outside. We had a lot of energy. We played sports. We made up our own games. And George followed right in my footsteps. He loved to stay outside. He was always running, jumping, and then unfortunately, the outdoors and just being around pets and stuff like that is when we learned that he was asthmatic.
mm,
And that kind of put a slight damper, but not to the point where everything stopped. when he was diagnosed at the tender age of 3 with asthma, I said, "Oh my goodness, you couldn't even imagine just the way that whole situation had happened." Um, he was with his godparents for the weekend, and I thought that when his godmother brought him back to me, he kept complaining about his stomach, and I'm thinking, she probably let him eat chocolate, ice cream, just a ton of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I gave him something for that. He went to bed, and it about 4 o'clock in the morning,
Mm.
came in my room, and he was still complaining about his stomach, but I heard him wheezing.
Mm.
And I sat up, and the only reason why I was familiar with a wheezing sound was a good friend of mine, son had asthma.
Mm.
So I knew what that sound meant, and I jumped up and I go in the bathroom, turn on the shower for the steam. Then I said, let me call the after hours. Call the after hours. By this time, he's sitting on my lap. The nurse heard him wheezing, and she said, you need to get to the emergency room.
Mm.
Without even thinking, I swear I took off my nightgown this way and put on clothes this way. I got to the Children's Hospital in Philadelphia in probably 10 minutes from where we lived at. And they came back and forth in the room, and they kept giving them some type of breathing treatment. And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? They came back in every hour, and I thought it was weird. I was like, they started whispering. And I said, please don't whisper. Tell me what's going on with my son. At this point, because this same energetic child is now like lethargic. He's winded. And I'm like, something's not right. So they told me, I got the news hit me like a ton of bricks. They said his left side of his lungs was collapsed.
Mm.
That he had been, and the reason his stomach was hurting is that he had been laboring to breathe.
Mm. And so sometimes when children has asthma, they can grow out of it. So is this a type of asthma he can grow out of it, or he has learned to play sports and treat himself?
That is, yet some do grow out of it, but there's things that can trigger it.
Okay.
If he gets a cold, if he gets an upper respiratory, it can flare up his asthma. Seasonal changes will flare up his asthma. It'll flare up his allergies, his hay fever. And then I made the decision to move. I came to Jacksonville, Florida. I visited an older sibling here in 2005. We were here in Jacksonville when Katrina hit.
Mm.
Katrina hit. We were here 10 days in Jacksonville, Florida, visiting my oldest sibling. Not one time did I have to give him any type of breathing treatment for asthma, nothing. I said at that point, I'm moving to Florida. No one believed me. No one believed me. I made the conscious decision to put in for a transfer, move to Florida. We moved to Florida July 2006.
I heard that.
Yes.
Children want to try out for various sports or change from different types of sports
Mhm.
to another. When did you realize or notice at what age that George got serious with the game of football? Now, he told us when he got serious, but children tell us a lot that I want this, and
Right.
you have to make sure this is what they want. So, when did
Absolutely.
you realize that he was serious?
I would have to say, when we first moved to Jacksonville, Florida, he played 2 years of soccer. Almost immediately after soccer, we would drive past the football field. He'd see kids out there playing football. And that one time he came to me, he said, Mom, I want to play tackle football. That's my only child. I was clutching my pearls. I was clutching my pearls. I was like,
Right.
look, you do?
Because that's a physical
It's a
sport.
physical. It's a
Mhm.
physical. Soccer, you can run around all day long and kick that ball. Yeah, football
Right.
is on a different level.
Right.
When he got out there, it was he became a natural. He
Mm.
became a natural. When they say there's no crying in football, there was no crying in football. He was tough, tough, tough. And I was like, wow, we might be on to something here.
Right.
He kind of liked it. We all want our young sons to be, sturdy and tough
Hmm.
with the strength and everything. So, like, I was like, this is what he needs to build him to be, the whatever it is he's aspiring to be. So I would say that when he was in the third, fourth grade, it started like, okay, I can do this.
Okay.
And then he tried every sport. I will say that he didn't turn down. He didn't shy away from. Baseball was introduced to him. He liked baseball. Basketball was introduced to him. At times he thought he was a 3-point player. He that basketball. I'm like, that's not sure. That's
Right.
strong, but he would do it. He would do it. And those times that he did, he was like, now I'm the 3-point jump shot. But I would say that and as he progressed through high school, it was like I just seen him transition.
Mm.
Like you went from being a scrub to a nice, well built.
Now you know how she really felt.
No,
Oh,
she let me know. She would let me know. You played terrible today. What was that? Yes, ma'am. Yes,
How
ma'am.
did you handle the empty nest syndrome since he's your only child? How did you handle the empty nest syndrome when George went so far away to college?
George and I are so close. We are thick as thieves, and it was a major adjustment for me.
I'm sure.
Major adjustment. Listen, when I dropped him off at college, listen, all George could say is, "Mom, put your glasses on," because the tears would just start streaming down my face. We in the airport. He's like, "Mom, put your glasses on. Put your glasses on." He didn't want people to see this crazy lady crying.
Yes, yes.
As the years went on, it got easier. And as he transitioned from Bates College, then to Columbia, it felt like it started all over again. I was like, oh my goodness, I got 2 more years of this long distance.
So,
But
for those who don't know, where is Bates and the Columbia? For those who are listening and don't know,
Bates is in Lewiston, Maine.
Mhm.
okay.
So it's all the way up at the top. The very cold is
Mm-hmm.
above Philly, New York, and Columbia is in New York, Manhattan, New York.
Okay.
So yes.
Mm-hmm. That's not too far. New York's not too far from Florida, but Maine is.
Well, it's 12-hour drive.
And then it's good that we have social media where you can see face to face to kind of ease that pain.
Yes.
What is your thought about being a mom manager while he's in the NFL?
I am happy being mom. I don't know how we would. I don't know how I would do a momager
Mhm.
because I don't know all the intricate parts that go into that. Um, I will always, help guide him in whatever the direction that he needs to go and find those resources to make sure he makes the right decisions legally, understanding how to read contracts.
Yes.
Right. Now that aspect of it, I can help in that portion of it. But managing, I don't know. I think we'll probably butt heads.
Y'all won't be too tight after a while.
He'll probably fire me.
Y'all won't be ride and die.
I like our relationship now.
Yeah.
Right. So one more question with you.
Yeah, yeah.
How are you feeling about him being an NFL contender?
Oh my goodness. It is so heartwarming. It's exciting to just sit back and watch how where he started as this young man and this child is a grown man making his mark on the world. I've
Mm-hmm.
always told George, I always told G that, the sky is limitless.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever your heart desires, that's what you do. And you put your all into making that happen. And I will be 1000% the driving force. And it's nice to see his vision coming to light.
Oh, yes. And regardless of the environment of the world that we live in now,
Hmm.
Yes,
it's still space for us to go out there and continue to make history, no matter how much they want to suppress us and hide us. That's why we're
absolutely.
doing these Black History moments now
Yes,
about people like us, because if they take our books out of schools and out of anywhere else we are, then we have to tell it verbally. We have to use
absolutely.
every platform we have. So, Mr. George,
Hmm.
thank you, Mom.
You're welcome.
So, Mr. George, you said your future aspirations, that your passion burns bright. He yearns for his shot at professional football. What does playing football on various levels mean to you, and to go pro? What is that feeling like?
You can never really describe the feeling. It's
Mm,
like a shocking factor. You don't believe it until it starts happening. It's kind of one of those. It's like, yeah, yeah, like, yeah, I'm playing football in college. Yeah, yeah, I'm playing D1 football. It doesn't really hit until like somebody says it to you. It's like, yo, like you playing football in college. Not many people get to do that. And like
mm-hmm,
seeing like my old teammates
mm-hmm,
either not playing football anymore or never got the chance to play football in college is
mm-hmm.
very eye opening. So it's very much so a shock factor, and you can't really explain the feeling.
So, for those of us who don't know, how did you get the news, and what was your first reaction that they wanted you? Tell us how that all happened for you to be a top prospect for the NFL. How was that? How did it come as a call? Did it come as an email? Did it come as a text? How did it come about?
So it came about in an article on CBS Sports, and I played in a bowl game where I was able to show off and showcase my talent,
Mm,
and basically, um, they had a list of players that were like top standouts that people should look for, and it listed my name as somebody else to look for. It didn't have a whole biography, but it was like my name was there, and it was like, yeah, this is somebody I need to look out for, watch out for. This is on CBS Sports. Like everybody watches and looks at CBS Sports. So to see that, I was in shock, and yeah, I didn't believe it with my own eyes at first. I was like, yeah, I noticed that my work ethic and what I've been doing to prepare for this moment has actually been paying off. So it
hmm.
keeps happening.
Yes, yes. So, who is your favorite football and basketball team, and your favorite athlete in each sport?
So for my favorite football team is, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles. We in the Super Bowl. Hopefully, we bring it home. That's the hope we go Birds.
Go Birds!
Go Birds!
My favorite basketball team, I would have to definitely say, is the Miami Heat. It's a love I developed for them once, like I moved to Florida and watching Dwayne Wade play. So that's why I became a Heat fan. For my favorite athlete in basketball, I would have to definitely say is Michael Jordan. Just the way he changed the game and was able to do it on different and various levels, as well as being able to, you know, play basketball, win 3 championships, go play another sport professionally, and then come back. It's kind of hard to like debate,
So, let me ask you that. How old were you when Michael Jordan was playing basketball?
I think I was probably about 2 or 3 when he was playing, maybe.
But you recognized him and you grew into watching him. Who
Yes.
would be your ideal coach?
So I don't have an ideal coach, but I have characteristic of what my ideal coach.
Mm.
Well, I want my ideal coach. Well, I want my ideal coach to be. It would
Mm-hmm.
need to be someone who pushes me, and like wants better for me, but is also also a friend, and where we can like talk about personal things and have a bond, not only on the football field, but have one off the field as well. And just doesn't see me as like a dollar sign, but like as a human being, and
Mm.
treats me as so. So
And,
a coach
and
like
not just a football player that's going to make them money. Mm-hmm.
exactly, and knowing like when to stop me when I don't know when to stop myself, because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I want to get it done and get it done to the best of the ability. So sometimes, having people in your corner that's like, yo, like you might want to slow down a little bit before, something happens is like something I would really like to have as a ideal coach.
Mm-hmm. Conversations are often about the difference training between high school and college. Share some difference in training between high school and college.
Yeah, the training is totally different. In high school, everybody lifts the same, everybody does the same workout, everybody is doing the same drills. It's more so just I wouldn't say just building up like muscle and stuff. It's not really focused on anything. Now, when you get to college, it's focused. It's like what what workout are we doing to focus the more explosiveness and when I drive to run? What workout am I doing to make sure I'm block destructing the right way? So it's more focused and more centered on your position once you get to college. Like my quarterback shouldn't be, benching or doing the workouts that I'm doing because he needs to throw the ball. I don't need to
Right,
have messed up wrist. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
him doing uh a pull up shoulder shrug is better than him trying to do a full power clean, which is what I need to do for explosion. So yeah.
Okay. Do you think now that you completed playing for high school and college, do you think it is beneficial that athletes should attend college prior to going pro?
Do I think it's beneficial for
It's for athletes to go to college prior to going pro.
I would say so because education is power and knowledge is power. So having that ability to train and meet a different standard in college is very beneficial for going pro. I feel as though you really can't do one without the other, and it kind of is like showcases how like you have grown over the years. I've noticed the growth I've made just from the different colleges I played at. So it definitely shows growth in what you're able to do.
Being on a professional stage, and sometimes coaches have a difficult time with new players adapting to all the attention and fame. How
Mhm.
would you go about adjusting to being a pro athlete and staying humble to yourself in the sport at hand?
I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't think I would change the way my mom raised me. You should treat everybody as so. You shouldn't treat them no differently just because of your status or what how much money you're making. Like everybody's the same, and there shouldn't be no change in that. So I feel as though I would stay true to myself and not change who I am because of how I was raised.
How was it as a teenager staying focused on what you wanted to do, such as going to college and playing pro football? Because I'm sure that as a teenager, you seen the other kids outside playing, going to the movies, just on Saturday morning, relaxing, watching cartoons. So as a teenager, knowing what you wanted to do, how
Mhm.
hard was it to stay focused and stay on your game?
I don't think it was so hard because of my mother. She always told me fun will always be there.
Hmm.
Focus on what you need to get done and get that done. Fun will always be there. There will always be another party, another movie, and another group friend hangout. So as long as I focus on getting my business done and get it done what I needed to get done, then
Mhm.
fun will always be there. And that's kind of just how I approach things, not only in high school but in college as well. I'll rather stay in and do some homework. Like it's Saturday and I'm about to stay in and do some homework. Last night I stayed in and did some homework because that's more important than me trying to be outside and be in everybody's face. And my mom always taught me I don't always need to be on the spot. So we
Mm-hmm.
have to always be on the spot.
And children need to know that there's nothing wrong with being nerdy and being
Hmm.
academically smart, okay? Because they the winners at the end,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Yes. So we're down to the last two questions. What advice do you have for children in school who want to or are thinking about playing a sport after graduating?
Um, I would tell them to do it because you never know where it's going to take you. I've spoken to many different people who, you know, they just wanted an education, but they was good at sports. So they said, "Huh, let me see if how this takes well after high school," and it's taking them places. It got them their major. I would definitely. I'm a big component of seeing things through. So you never know how much potential you have until you actually do it, as well as you don't want to sit back and be like, "What if?" or "What if this?" or "What if that?" You eliminate all those what ifs if you just go out and do what you said to do.
Okay. So both of y'all are ready for the Super Bowl tomorrow?
Yes, yes,
So,
yes.
what do you think the score is going to look like? Is it going to be a low score, high score? I know it's going to be a good game.
It's gonna be a good game.
Is Saquon Barkley run like he did? So, what do you think the score is going to look like? Have you thought about that yet?
I've thought about it. I've talked about it. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. Eagles defense doesn't give up that many points, and the Chiefs defense is good at what they do. So I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I would, if I had to guess, I have Eagles 24-17 over the Chiefs. So that would
Okay.
be that's what I see.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. Congratulations on being the top prospect for the NFL. I'm gonna be listening for your name
Mhm.
during the draft. Mom, thank you for raising such a
Mhm.
nice, educated, talented young man. I
Thank you.
love
Thank
one
you.
reason why I do these podcasts is because I love seeing the evolution of people,
Mm.
because like they said, it's not always how you started but how you ended up. And
That's
so for the rest of the month of February, I have more black stories, like people like us. So
yeah.
until the next time, go Eagles.
Go birds.
Go birds,
Go
go birds.
yes. And thank you for coming on, stopping your Saturday and coming on and saying me. All right.
Thank
Absolutely.
you so much for having me.
For
This is a
having
great
us.
opportunity.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Take
No
care.
problem. Thank you. Thank you. Well, until the next time, my invitation to a conversation audience, I'll see you soon. Bye
All right.
bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. See you soon.
Take care.
How did y'all think that